In this video, I'm going to show you how to install wxWidgets on Windows. First, I'll download the latest development version of wxWidgets, and I'm already at the website. As you can see, if you click on the Downloads tab, it should bring you to the latest development version, which is 3.1.4 as at the date of this recording, which is September 10th, 2020. Yep. If you'd like to download the stable version, one thing to note is while I tried to do that, I couldn't find a Visual Studio solution for Visual Studio 2016. So yeah, that's just a heads up. But I'm gonna download the zip file for 3.1.4, which is the latest development version as at July 2022 of 2020. So that's really recent. Okay, now that the download is finished, I want to create a folder in my C drive. And just note, this is optional, you don't have to do this, but I want to do this because in an event where I want to install maybe the stable version of wxWidgets, I can run multiple versions of wxWidgets and not have to worry about them clashing together. So it will help me keep them multiple versions separate from each other. So I'll create a new folder called SDK. Open it, then I'll create a folder called wx. Or let me just extract it into here. What is that? And extract that on this tool, and it should extract the wxWidgets I just downloaded to download file. And I already have this here, but just redoing everything from scratch for the sake of the tutorial. Okay, now that that's extracted, I'll rename it. I'll rename it to wx314, which is just to match the version of it. So in case I want to deal with another version of wxWidgets, when I go to the SDK, I know what version I have installed. Then I'll go to the SDK folder I created earlier. Then I'll paste that in here. And yeah, so now that I've pasted in here, now I want to compile wxWidget so we can start using it in Visual Studio Code and creating GUI applications. So to do that, I'll go into the build directory and I'll go to MSW, which stands for Microsoft. I don't know what that is, but I know that's the Microsoft configuration file to build. And I'll scroll down to where it says wx underscore vc16. So what the 16 stands for is the solution was created using Visual Studio 2016. If you have a later version than 2016, that will work. If you have an earlier version, then you should just check the one that fits your situation. So I'll just open this one up. And I'll open the Solution Explorer. Then I'll click on the solution name here. Then I'll right click and I'll batch build. Now, if you're familiar with wxWidgets and you have specific things you want to install in mind, then you could just go and select them. The reason why I selected everything before is because I've already done this while preparing for this video. But if you don't know anything, if you don't have something specific in mind you want to install, just select all and build it. Just build it. So this should take a while because it's a lot. It's gonna build wxWidgets into a static library and a dynamically linked library. So I will see you when that is done. Okay, now that wxWidget has finished compiling, you should see 192 succeeded. But if you get an error, maybe it compiled wrong or something, just do the same thing I did while I first compiled. Just right click, batch build, and just rebuild everything, and it should probably work fine the second time. Now that that's done, I want to close this down, and before I start, I create a demo LOL program. I want to add environmental variables that will just make life easier configuring wxWidgets inside Visual Studio Code. So I just click search for environmental variables. Now click on environmental variables. So you can do this in two ways. You can either set a system variable, which is like making the environmental variable you are creating available to every user available on this computer. But I'm just gonna be creating under my user variable. So think of, if you're familiar with Linux, using a bash rc file and creating environmental variables inside the bash rc file. That's exactly what it feels like to create an environmental variable under your user variables. Basically, click on new, and I'll say, and I'll name it wxWin, and I'll just browse the file, and I'll go back to the directory where it was installed, and I'll just open that there. I just copy the path and paste it in the variable value. I say okay, okay. Now to create first, before I create a wx a demo, I want to create a template. So the essence of the template will be, so you don't have to manually reconfigure wxWidgets every single time. Then that will make sense in a little bit. So I'll just create a new project, and once it pops up, and I'll create a Windows desktop application. And the reason for that is because think of creating GUI applications, that the desktop application. So I'm going to be using the base configuration for a desktop application, and I'm just going to be adding wxWidget spin on it, basically. I'll say wx test, and yep. Okay. Now once this is open up, and you can see, to just show, this is the default Windows how to create a GUI application using just plain Windows API. And I just run this here to show you, because this won't run cross-platform this won't run cross-platform compared to when you use wxWidgets. This will only work on Windows because it's using the Windows API. So I'll just delete everything. Bye bye. And I'll just say, and I'll click on properties. And the first thing I want you to do is, in the configuration here, I want you to make sure it close to all configuration, and in the platform I want you to select Win32. And now that that's out of the way, I want you to click on where is it? Okay, wait. Okay, so it won't show me the C++ configuration because I don't have a C++ file there. I'll just add one real quick. Let's say frame the CPP, and I'll go back into the properties, and now the C++ part is there. Click on the C++ part, this part. Now click on general, and what I want to do is I want to include additional directory. So the first one is I want to say wxWin, which is the environmental variable we created. And if you know anything about environmental variables, what we created is basically just pointing to where the wx directory is installed. And you know, this also goes back to what I said earlier about, you know, installing multiple versions on Windows, you know, so you can just name this anything you want, and you can work with multiple versions and just put your own spin on it. I'll just say include, and this will include the header files, and also I want to include wxWin /include MSVC, and that is just the Windows, and this one is the Windows specific headers, and this is just the whole wxWidgets headers. And I just click apply there. And the next one I want to do is the library. So I'll go to linker, general, and in additional library. So you can do this two ways. I'll be using the statically linked libraries. And if you don't know the difference between statically linked libraries and dynamically linked libraries, Google is your friend in that case, because it's a whole topic in itself. So I'll just be using the statically linked libraries. If you want to use the dynamically linked libraries, let me just show you where I'm getting all this from, so it will look like I'm just getting this out of thin air. So for the header files, I went into this so this directory is where the environmental variables we created I created earlier points to, and I'll just say include, which is this, and this is where the header files is located. And for the MSVC with the Windows specific stuff, this is where that is located. So for the libraries that will link, that will be in lib. This is where when we compile in Visual Studio Code, this is where everything is installed. So because the platform I selected is Win32, which is 32-bit, I'll just be including the 32-bit libraries. If you want to create only for 64-bit machine, you just change it up here, and pop goes the visual. And so I just say VC lib, and this is where I'll be selecting. So I just select from here, and I'll go into general, additional libraries, and I'll say wxWin, and just paste that in there. And this will include the statically linked libraries, and that's everything. So the next thing I want to do now is create a simple wxWidgets lower program, and that should just be in the timeline. Okay, now that I have a simple hello world program with wxWidgets, you can see it's a simple hello and about, and quit. I want to create a project template that will prevent me from having to do this every single time I want to create a wxWidgets project. So I'll say go to project, export template, project template, select okay. So I'll say wxWidget. I'll say starter template. And I'll click automatically import the projects into Visual Studio, and I'll click finish. and that's it. That's how you install wxWidgets on. Well, I guess I better show you how to use the import. So I'll just close the solution, create a new project, and you can see wxWidgets. It's a template here, and I'll create it. And I'll say wxTest2, and I'll create it, and it should show all the files I created. And I run it, it will be another word program that shows up. So this is compiling, and it's another word program that shows up, and you can just get started from here. There will be a link in the description to this this template. It will be on my GitHub page, and that's it, people. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up if you want. If you don't like the video, well, dislike it, whatever you think. And I also have installation video for Mac OS and Linux. The link is in the description below. I hope you have a nice day. Bye bye.